The auto strike is expanding again, but workers at the GM plant in Arlington are still waiting to see if they will be called to the picket lines. Good evening, everyone. I'm Steve Noviello. Without a new deal for the United Auto Workers, their strike expanded today against the three major automakers, GM, Ford, and Stellantis. 7,000 additional workers walked off the job today, but none right now for North Texas. Fox 4 Stephen Dial live in Arlington, where major vehicle production really would hit the brakes, Steve, if workers were to strike. Good evening.
Good evening. No UAW workers in the entire state of Texas were added to the nationwide strike, but GM UAW union workers here in Arlington say they stand ready to continue to fight for fair wages.
It's the war of the working class versus corporate greed.
Friday morning, Shawn Fain, the national president for the United Auto Workers Union, announced the next expansion in its nationwide strike.
That's why I'm calling on an additional 7,000 members across Ford and GM to go on strike.
The strike includes thousands of workers for what's known as the Big Three, GM, Ford, and Stellantis, which owns Chrysler and related brands. UAW is calling for a 40% increase in pay over the next 4 years, among other increased benefits. Last week, Arlington GM workers rallied in support of their union members around the country. Arlington was not added to the list of those on strike. Instead, workers at the Ford plant in Chicago and the GM plant in Lansing, Michigan started striking.
Our cause is just. Striking for a better future to protect our communities and to defeat corporate greed is not just our right, it's our duty.
The CEO of Ford, Jim Farley, accused the union of holding an agreement hostage with unreasonable demands at future battery plants for electric vehicles, demands he says would make Fords far more expensive than Tesla's and other competitors. Dozens of workers at GM Part facility in Roanoke, north of Fort Worth, and union employees at Stellantis Parts Distribution Center in Carrollton are on strike. Fain announced they would not add any more Stellantis workers, citing some progress at the negotiation table.
Stellantis made significant progress on the 2009 cost of living allowance, the right not to cross a picket line, as well as the right to strike over product commitments and plant closures and outsourcing moratoriums. We are excited about this momentum at Stellantis and hope it continues.
We reached out to the local UAW office here in Arlington. Their president is out of town at a conference, and they said check back sometime next week for a comment.
All right, Stephen Dial reporting for us live in Arlington. We thank